Hello, this support video is for custom feed subscriptions, and these are for use with your dynamic display campaigns, and they're going to serve three primary purposes listed here. The first one, and most likely the most common one, is just going to be the ability to create multiple filter feeds for a single dealership. So without the custom feed subscriptions, you've been limited to simply one feed link for AdWords or Google Display Network and one feed link for Facebook, both of which contain all vehicles for that dealership. Now you have the ability to create a lot of subsets of those vehicle inventory feeds that might only include new vehicles only, new used vehicles only, maybe a particular make, model, etc. These are very similar to the Facebook product sets if you're familiar using those within Facebook, but they're going to give you a few benefits beyond that, such as our second option here, the ability to create advanced feed filters based on historical data. So the ability to look at not only today's inventory data, but previous days' historical data is going to give us the ability to create filtered feeds for vehicles based on the number of days they've been on the lot or based on price change that may have occurred. And then the final use of these is for sold vehicle reports. Of course, not for use in your advertising campaigns, but definitely a nice value add for reporting that you can give back to your dealer clients. So let's go ahead and dive into the interface and start creating a few of these. To get to the feed subscription section, it's on over here in the left-hand navigation under feeds. I'm already there, and I'm going to go ahead and click the add feed subscription button, and we'll just dive straight into making a few of these. So I'm going to call this one Demo Feed 1, and I'm going to use my tried and true Crown Nissan demo account example to create and I'm going to start with the default feed. Now, if you created a default feed and didn't apply any filters to it at all, you would essentially be producing exactly the same feed that you already have with that Facebook and AdWords feed link that you have in the dealer portion of the interface. So these are really only helpful when you do add a filter, and I'm going to go ahead and add one in this situation since I know this is a Nissan dealership, I'm going to do a new Nissan Frontier. Oops, would help if I spelled that correctly. Frontier. Now, I did a combination of three of the options here. You can do it on a condition, make, model, trim. You don't have to do it on a combination. You could do just only selecting the condition, saying maybe I only want used vehicles or only want new vehicles. You could even not have anything for condition, make, model, and maybe only put a trim in and, say an EX. And even if you didn't put a make, model, or condition in here, it would still filter for any vehicle in the feed with a trim of EX. So flexibility for how you want to use these. I'm just going to go ahead and use the example where I'm going to filter it for only new Nissan Frontiers, and then I'm going to select my feed format. And our options here are AdWords for your AdWords campaigns in the Google Display Network, AutoWeb, brand new publisher we've added to the system. We do have integration now with them, so if you are working with AutoWeb, you can request a feed for them here. And then Facebook is your standard Facebook feed that we've been using for the last couple years, and the Facebook V2 is the new automotive format of the Facebook feeds. So I'm just going to use standard old Facebook, and I'm going to create my first custom feed subscription. Once we've done that, you can see that we now see Crown Nissan down here in the list of custom feed subscriptions. I can expand this out to take a look at what the filter criteria was for the feed, new Nissan Frontiers. And from here, if we'd like, we can go ahead and click the feed link to download and view it in Excel. Okay, and as you can see here, we've got somewhere in here, there we go, only new Nissan Frontiers in the feed from this Nissan dealership. Still in the same Facebook format. Okay, so that's your first example. Now, I'm showing you how you can access and kind of view and open these from within the feed subscriptions, but once you do create them down here, they're also available in the dealer's detail pages. So I navigated to Crown Nissan, where we've always gotten our standard AdWords and Facebook dynamic feeds, and now you can see here's our new Demo Feed 1 with the new Nissan Frontiers. Okay, back to the feeds section to add a few more feeds for Crown Nissan. We'll call this feed 2. And this time we're going to use the lowest price feed. This has a very specific purpose. This will be helpful for use if you want to create a feed and where ultimately you're trying to create some sort of carousel ad that's going to show, hey, here is our new, say, Nissan model lineup for 2018. And in which case you might come in and put in filters like this, new, and I'll do a Nissan Frontier like we did in the last one. Then let me add a couple more, and boy, I can't seem to spell Frontier right. There we go. And then let's do also a new Nissan Altima. And we'll also do a new Nissan Pathfinder. Okay, so we got one of their sedans, one of their trucks, and one of their SUVs. If I stop here, the resulting feed is going to contain 3 records and 3 records only. It will only include one vehicle that matches each of these filters, and it will be the lowest price one of each. So again, this gives you the ability to say, check out our new Nissan model lineup for 2018. You might want to put all the Nissan model filters in here. You will always have only one record in the feed for each of those new models with the lowest price. So you can, in your ad, say, check out the new, model lineup. Here's the Nissan Frontier starting at, and the lowest price. So let's go ahead and create this one. We'll take a look at demo feed 2. Okay. And as you can see, we have one Altima, one Frontier, one Pathfinder, and we'd have to go back and look at the details, but there is the lowest price one of each. Okay, moving on. Now we're going to get into the historical feeds. Demo feed 3 on Nissan. Now do notice you can create them for more than one dealer at a time here. Really helpful if you've got like a dealer group that you want to go ahead and, they've got 7 locations and they want to do used vehicle filter feeds for all of them. You can easily do 7 at a time. We're going to go into our price drop feed now. So we're going to include vehicles that have had a price drop of over, and you get to define your parameters here. So I'm going to just use, for example, any feed that's had or any vehicle that's had a price drop of over, say, $200 in the last 7 days, not 67, just 7. I only want to include those in my feed, so I'm going to be able to create some sort of ad that says, check out these great deals on these vehicles with recent price drops, and you're going to be able to put in a was $20,000, now $19,000, or whatever the actual numbers are. So again, I'm going to go ahead and select the Facebook format, click Submit, and we'll take a look at this one as well. Here it comes, opening it in Excel. And now we can see that we have, well, certainly if you did a count, you can see that we don't have their full feed, only 117 vehicles match that. And if you look here, you can see that now we have 2 price fields instead of 1, price and sale price. Price will be the highest price that vehicle was over the date range that you provided. Mine was 7 days, and the sale price will always be today's price. So now you can merge both of these into the ad saying, check out this 2015 Mercedes-Benz S-Class was $60,287, now $56,256. Okay. Do note that if you're building these and using these for AdWords, AdWords does have a optional field for a second price like we have in Facebook here, but it must be configured within the AdWords business data feed prior to uploading one of our feed links with that additional field in it. So please keep that in mind. Okay, let's go ahead and get to the second historical feed. Demo feed. What am I up to now? 4. Crown Nissan. And we'll just be doing aging inventory. Just what you'd probably expect. This is going to limit the feed to only include vehicles that have been in inventory over X days. You get to configure X, so I might want to put like 45 days here. Oftentimes dealers are using days on lot to kind of determine what their specials are. So, any vehicle, especially a used vehicle that has been on lot for over 45 days, well, that's a special. They're going to cut the price. They want to get it off the lot. So very good thing to be able to also highlight those in our ads. And so I selected 45 days. Going to stick with the Facebook feed format. Do notice the warning down here. It says, upon initial setup of the dynamic display feeds, all vehicles start out with an age of 0 days. That means when you first request a setup of a dealer account and we create those feeds for you, everything is 0 days because we don't know how long that vehicle has been there prior to our setup. We only know how long it's been there from that day and when we were able to start recording history. So please do not be alarmed if you're doing aging inventory feed filters and if it's the first few days you've set up the account and you're not seeing any results in here. Go ahead and submit that one, and we'll take a look at that. There we go. Okay. Opening up in Excel, and here we have that. And essentially the same thing as we've normally seen in your Facebook feeds, but again, this one is filtered for not all their vehicles, but only those ones that have been in inventory for over 45 days. Okay, and then the last feed subscription, which is not for the use in advertising, but just reporting back to clients, is our sold vehicle report. So demo sold report. I'll give it even a special name. Crown Nissan. Yeah, I got that. And I will do sold vehicle report. And you get to specify how many days you want us to look back in history to determine what vehicles were sold in that date range. So I'm going to just put 7 days here, hit submit. Let's get that one opened. And this is typically used, especially if you're running dynamic display campaigns in Facebook and you've got the nice VIN level reporting that they offer. That you can run some reports for your clients showing them, here's how many clicks we have driven to this particular new 2017 Nissan Maxima Platinum with this VIN. And then you can match that up with the sold vehicle reports and say, and yes, you see it sold on January 21st. Therefore, the ads help contribute to that sale. Okay. Okay, and that covers all of the feed subscription types. Default, again, I'll just do a quick review. Default would be the exact same thing as you currently have in your AdWords and Facebook feeds that are provided by default, but then you can also add filters on then to filter for condition, make, model, or trim. Lowest prices. Do remember that if you put 3 filters in here, you receive 3 vehicles, and it will always be the lowest price one that matches each of those filters. Price drops. Only those vehicles that have had a price drop of over X amount in the last Y days, where you can configure X and Y. Aging inventory only includes vehicles that have been in inventory for over X days, where you define X, and our sold vehicle report. So very handy way to open up a lot of new capabilities for both your Facebook and AdWords campaigns, especially if you're working with in-market audiences. You could do this to an extent with Facebook, since they did have the product sets. Let's say you wanted to target to in-market truck shoppers, only the new trucks for this Nissan dealership. So you'd want to create filters for, just the new Nissan Frontier, the new Nissan Titan. Previously, we haven't been able to do that within this interface. You'd have to do that with the product set in Facebook, and you couldn't do it in AdWords for Google Display Network at all, since they don't have any sort of feed filtering within their interface. And then it also gives you a lot of new capabilities for pulling inventory from historical data or based on historical data. Nice for the campaign managers, and also nice for your sales team to definitely make sure to let them know new features that you're going to be able to offer to your clients that other agencies won't. And that concludes our support video on custom feed subscriptions.